Hello everyone, this is Peter Online Computer Network Engineering Tutorial. I am here to teach you how to configure VLANs, okay, in a medium to large enterprise company, okay, that has more than 200 or 250 staff, okay, to 300 staff. Remember, there must be, they must have several departments, okay, sales, finance, logistic, management, procurement, okay, you know, human resources, etc. So putting these users into one large network is not a good practice and it doesn't ensure security. Security is not assured, okay? It's, for instance, let's say accounting server that contains financial record of that company and they want to put this network, put the accounting server, together with all users. Okay, anything can happen. Another thing is the CPU overhead. Okay, to reduce CPU overhead, imagine when somebody send a broadcast or two people send a broadcast at the same time. It's going to eat the CPU of that switch or computer, thereby reducing the performance of this network. Okay, what if one user come with a flash and insert it into a computer system, and it happens that this flash contains virus? There's a tendency of this virus, to spread the whole, network infrastructure, thereby causing problem. Okay. Another thing for easy troubleshooting, finding fault. When there is a problem, you know where to look for the problem. So this is the way in the switch, you log into switch command line. Remember, from user mode, enable, EN for short. You come to, this is switch. You come to privilege mode, where I issue config T, configure terminal. This is the short you put, and this is switch. Come to global configuration mode, where you put, VLAN 10. You hit enter. You're in VLAN mode now. You name it cells. Okay? You hit enter. You put exit to come back to global configuration mode, where you put VLAN 20. VLAN 20. You hit enter. Okay, you name it finance. You hit enter and you click exit to come back to global configuration mode, where you put VLAN 30. VLAN 30. Remember, you're creating VLANs. You hit enter. You're in VLAN configuration mode now. VLAN mode, where you put name. You name it to be logistics. Okay. You hit enter and put exit. Come to, VLAN 40. You hit enter. You're in VLAN configuration mode. VLAN, where you name it management. You hit enter and you come back. You create a voice VLAN, because there must be, voice VLAN for communication. Cisco IP phones. You put VLAN 50. Let's say that voice VLAN is in VLAN 50. You hit enter. You're in VLAN, mode. You put name. You name it for voice. You hit enter. Okay. So let's clean this and go back up here. You have created these VLANs. Now, what next? The next is, after creating these VLANs, when you go back to privilege mode and do show VLANs, you are going to see all the VLANs you created. This department, sales, finance, logistics, and management and voice VLAN. Okay. Now these VLANs, you are going to assign these interfaces to every VLAN. Okay. Let's say FO/1, FO/2, FO/3, FO/4, FO/5, FO/6, and FO/7 should be assigned to, VLAN 10. What you need to do, interface from global configuration mode in this switch, interface range FO/1 to, 7. You hit enter to come to interface configuration mode. Interface if, okay, where you put switch port mode access. You hit enter, switch port access, port access, VLAN 10. You hit enter and come switch port. You need to enable voice here. Switch port voice VLAN 50. You hit enter. So you have created VLAN 10 and enable voice VLAN for these interfaces as well. You put exit to come back to global configuration mode. Put this, interface range from 8 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, interface range. These are switch ports, okay, where these computers are connected to. Range FO/8 to what? Let's say 15. You hit enter to come for interface configuration mode. Interface if, okay, where you put switch port mode access. You enable the interface to be access port. Switch port, you enter switch port access. That access should be in VLAN 20. You hit enter, then enable voice VLAN as well to this, interfaces. Switch port, voice VLAN 50. You hit enter. Okay, you come back to global configuration mode. Remember 30. Okay, interface range. Let's say from that 8, from 9, interface range FO slash, where did we stop? 15, FO/16, range to FO/24. Okay, for instance, it could be more than that. You hit enter. You're now in the interface configuration mode, interface if, switch port mode, access. Okay, you hit enter, switch port access, VLAN 30. Okay, you hit enter, you're still in interface configuration mode, switch port, assign voice, switch port voice, VLAN 50, because voice is in VLAN 50. You hit enter. Now, the same thing is applicable today. Use this way and configure VLAN 30. Let's say from 25 to port, let's say port, because this, let's say, is a 48 port switch, from 25, interface from 25, ranges from 25 to 32 or 33, and configure access, mode access, and voice VLAN 50. Okay, because in an enterprise network, you see some, phone, Cisco IP phones connect to, connect system. These are the IP phones. They connect using one wire, and that is why you are enabling this on the same voice, on the same, on the same interface. Okay. Now you have created this. Now you come to go end to come to switch, privilege mode, where you do show VLANs. You hit enter. Do you know what you're going to see? You're going to see cells on this interface of FO/1, FO/2, FO/3, FO/4, FO/5, FO/6, and FO/7 have been enabled for sales. Okay, the same thing is applicable to finance. Finance, where you see from FO/8, FO/9, FO/10, FO/11, FO/12 to 15 for sales for finance VLAN. Finance. Okay, finance. This is what you're going to see down to management VLANs. Okay, so with the voice. So this is how it's going to appear. So after this configuration, meaning that you have broken logically, these systems may appear physically that they are in one broadcast domain because every computer connected to switch port, regardless of the number of this switch, are in one broadcast domain, which is one large network, which is not too good, but it's only good in a small company home. There's something called SOHO, network infrastructure called SOHO, small office, home office. Just a small enterprise, it can put them in one switch and configure router interface with IP address, and they don't have department. They just have is a company, one-man company. Okay, but this is a large company, a medium to large enterprise network that has departments. Okay, you created all these things, even though they are connected on the same switch physically. Okay, but logically have broken this network departmentally, and this is where it will configure routing, because without the help of router, all these department VLAN, sales VLAN, we communicate within the sales VLAN. Finance, we communicate within the finance. Logistics, we communicate within the logistics. It can never communicate with finance. Sales cannot communicate with no department can communicate with another department, or except you configure what is called inter-VLAN routing. Okay, you configure what is called inter-VLAN routing. And how do we configure inter-VLAN routing? Is by creating a trunk link to the router from this switch. This is gigabit uplink that leads to switch, because these are fast Ethernet 100 megabit per second. Remember, they are going to route through here, so these need to be a gigabit interface. You do this on a switch from global configuration mode, interface GO/1. Okay, you hit enter, you say switch port mode is trunk. You hit enter, you have configured trunk on this interface. Okay, now you go to router, and do this router here, this router global configuration mode. You do this interface GO/O, you hit enter, and remember, you're now in interface configuration mode. You put no shutdown, enable it with no shutdown. Okay, you hit enter. You have enabled this interface, and go back to global configuration mode by putting exit to go back global, because you cannot assign IP address on this physical interface for now. What you need to do, because you need to create sub interfaces. Now you do this interface GO/O dot 10 VLAN 10. You hit enter. Okay, now it will tell you, without enabling shutdown, it will tell you that GO/O sub interface 10 is off and LAN protocol is off. What you need to do, you put encapsulation, okay, dot 1Q. 20, 10. 10, that is the VLAN 10. This is a trunking protocol. Without this trunking protocol, you cannot route between you cannot, this department cannot, share files. They cannot route files between each other. Router cannot route files. This is a trunking protocol. It's an industry, you know, trunking protocol, okay, designed by Institute of Electrical Stroke Electronic Engineers, okay, it's an industry standard. Cisco has their own, interswitch link. It's called interswitch link, ISL, interswitch link. But this is 802.1Q, designed by industry standard. Do you know what this means? For tagging VLAN, for tagging frame, okay, and VLAN frame is a trunking protocol because every VLAN, if VLAN 1, if VLAN 10 want to, a user in VLAN 10 want to talk to a user in VLAN 20, that frame is going to be tagged on VLAN 10, notifying the router that this VLAN 10 user is want to talk to VLAN 20 user. Then router will check into it, look into its sub interface, that is routing table. Because for configuring, by you configuring sub interfaces, you have configured different IP addresses in router's routing table, okay, in order to route files. This is like different networks now. Okay, it's like different networks, just like this is router here, and this router connected to another network in another place, and this is LAN. Okay, now this is LAN. This is a network that you have created different network inside it. Okay, so now let's still go ahead. Then, as you configure trunk using VLAN 10, you put enter and you put IP address. IP address. I've submitted this. This can give you 254 valid holders. Submitted in such a way that each department can have 30 users, 30 IP addresses, and which is 192.175.20.1. 255, the continuation of this, .255.255.224. This is 27-bit that can give you about 30 valid hosts, okay? This is 24-bit that can give you about 254 hosts, valid hosts. So I have subnetted it that each one must contain 30 IP addresses. Now, you have enabled VLAN 10 inside this router. You come back to global configuration mode and put, interface GO, the same GO/O.20. Remember, I put 10 here. You hit enter, this interface will be off. You put encapsulation, okay, DOT .1Q 20. It's going to tag this VLAN ID. Okay, this is a trunking protocol that will tag every VLAN. That is why I put this. You can see VLAN 30, VLAN 20, VLAN 10, VLAN 40, VLAN 20, VLAN 10. I need to put VLAN 50 as well for voice because they are moving into, this is a trunk link. By doing this, this is what they are creating inside trunk link. Okay, this is a trunking protocol that tags every VLAN ID and frame. Okay, now you do this IP address 192.175.20.33 because this one we finish at 30. 31 is the broadcast address, 32 is the network number, and 33 is the first address in this subnet. So now 255, remember it's supposed to be here, okay? I'm supposed to put 255 here, but because there's not enough space to contain it, so I come here, .255.255.224. You hit enter, okay? So router is going to place it /27. That's the way it's going to live because 27 bit. you hit exit and come back and interface another interface go/o.30. You hit enter and you put encapsulation again. Encapsulation is going to be trunking protocol dot.1q30. Okay, you hit enter and you put IP address 192.15175.20. Remember, I'm in another subnet now. The next subnet is supposed to be 64. And first address there is 65, which is the subnet default gateway for this VLAN 30 here. Default gateway for this VLAN 30. And you put 255.255.255.224. You hit enter. Okay. Now, remember, without this configuration, okay, the department cannot communicate with, one department cannot communicate with another department. Well, with this configuration now, they can communicate. Okay, so you configure that with the VLAN 40. Let's configure VLAN 50 interface go/o.50 for voice VLAN. You enter and you put encapsulation dot1q50. You hit enter where you put IP address 192.175.20. Now you are on what? 96. 96 and 97 is the first valid IP. 255.255.255.224. Subnetting this network that can give us 254 valid hosts in one large network. If you subnet it for one subnet work to contain 30 users, it's going to give you 8 different subnetworks. 8 different subnetworks. So I've broken this department, this one large network, into 8 departments. Okay, let's say this company has 8 departments. I can even do more than that for future growth. Okay, I can say, okay, each department can take about 64 valid hosts for growth. Okay, but now, for instance, example is what I'm showing you here. So the same thing is applicable to this VLAN 40. Okay, and that configuration is done. So now they can root files. Whatever that happens here will remain here. Now I can configure security policies in this router. Router, contains some kind of security policies that he can use, such as what do you call it? What do you call this? To configure access control list, access list. I can say, okay, this all department must not come to accounting server. I deny every, department access to accounting server except the accounting department. They are the one that will access their server, so that when there is fraud, it will be between them. The investigation is going to be between the accounting department, not every other department. Unlike when you leave it on a flat rate, flat network, and there is a fraud, who is going to be responsible? Which department will be responsible now? Because every department, there is no way you can, control, everybody to access the accounting department. But because you have created routing in a router, it can control and say, okay, you can go. It can even stop a department or some department from going to the internet. Okay? You have the flexibility to control these users. Okay? And that is why creating this network departmentally into subnetwork is the best. If you find this video interesting, do not hesitate to share it. And I have YouTube, channel for you people to just click on subscribe, so that when I upload these videos, you have access to it. You can download it for your offline studies. But I noticed that nobody is, hitting on subscription button. They just go there and view, and they just download video and move away. That's not good. You are not encouraging me. If you are really encouraged, if you really want to encourage me and you want that YouTube channel to grow, you want me to upload, good files, good videos there, I need to see, that you people are subscribing to my YouTube channel. It's not going to cost you any money. Okay. So thank you and see you in the next tutorial. Bye.